I didn't want to give them eating disorder as well. It's more difficult for them to do it.
Hey everyone, this is Rochelle, the Real Life Carnivore. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to introduce my special guest today. We're going to be talking about carnivore motherhood. We're going to be talking about how to have those difficult conversations with family members and loved ones about nutrition. And I just want to introduce to you this lovely guest. Her name is Mélina. Did I say it right?
Yes, right.
Okay, Mélina, would you like to introduce yourself to our community?
Yes, hi. So thank you so much for having me. So I'm from Switzerland. I speak French, so that's why my English is not very good, but I hope you will understand. I'm 34 years old and I have two kids, almost three. I'm a foster mom, so I have two biological kids and one foster son. And I'm a physiotherapist as well.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, tell me, how long have you been carnivore for?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Okay, wow. And what encouraged you or inspired you to become a carnivore, Menina?
I started after my pregnancy because I wanted to lose weight. I think it was in 2018. I was looking on internet and I found the keto diet. So I did it until 2022 and it was good. You know, I lost my weight, I feel good, but I don't know, something was missing. And one day I was speaking with a friend, and she's from France. And you know, in the French country, a French-speaking country, in Europe, it's not very common, the carnivore diet. So I've never heard about it. And she told me about it. You need to try. And I was like, no, I don't want to eat only meat. It's disgusting. I like meat, but like with vegetables, with pasta, you know, with other things. And I was like, okay, I like challenge, so I will try. I wanted to do it for 1 month. And then I did it 1 month and it was so good. I felt so many benefits. I felt so good. So I continue. And now it's been, yeah, 2 years in June. So that's how it started. But first, it was not for the carnivore, you know, it was just for losing weight.
Yeah, which is the primary reason why many come to carnivore. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, could you share what were some of the benefits that you initially saw when you went carnivore?
I saw first I had a headache, you know, because I have a health problem,
Mhm.
um, like in my head, and I had headache because of it, and that's why that the things I saw in keto as well. It started with keto to be less, and I still had some headache sometimes,
Mhm.
but carnivore I didn't have it anymore. And then I had how to say in English, irritable bowel
Irritable
syndrome,
bowel, yeah.
and this I had it as well. And it was better in keto diet, but it was way better in carnivore. I don't have it anymore. And you know, I did many tests with the doctor. We tried everything and nothing worked. And now, like it's like never happened. I had the acne as well, so I had a lot, and now it's very good as well. Um, Also with the I had cramps when I have the menstruation, and I
Mhm.
don't feel anything anymore. So this is awesome. It's like I don't feel when it comes, you know. I'm like, oh, surprise.
Yeah, and that's definitely not common. That's
Yeah,
not common. Like most women know that they're getting their period because they feel the pain of the cramps coming on,
exactly. Yeah.
the cravings coming on, all of those things. And you're telling me that you don't experience any of those things anymore.
Yeah, it's like crazy, you know. So that's good. And
Yeah.
this I didn't feel in keto diet. It's really in carnivore that I saw the change.
Oh,
And
wow. I mean, you don't have to sell it to me because I'm also a carnivore coming on 2 years, but it just never ceases to amaze me hearing from other people their testimonies of what they have seen improvement wise with their bodies, with their health. And it sounds to me like you don't have the headaches at all anymore.
yeah, exactly. I don't have. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's crazy, you know, because I'm even wondering because I had like aneurysm, you know, And every yeah, we say it like this here, so that's why I had the health problem. It's artery. Oh my
Arteries?
goodness. Yes, artery. Did a dissection, and then it made an aneurysm in my head. And I'm even wondering to do a scan, to see if it's going. I don't know. Maybe with carnivore it's healing. I don't know. I was wondering. Maybe I will ask my doctor to make an X-ray or something to see. So we will see. For the moment, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, I think that would be wonderful. And
Yes.
it wouldn't just be, to toot about this way of eating, but it would just be so encouraging to know that not only do you feel better symptom wise, but like physiologically, you're seeing those changes.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
just like myself when I went carnivore. The whole reason why I went carnivore is because I wanted to get pregnant. I didn't care about any of the other benefits. I had heard about other benefits, but I was like, I don't care. I just want to get pregnant. We had been told that it was basically impossible for us to conceive without going through like in vitro or something like that. And I was like, Psh, I ain't going through that stuff. Like I was like, there's got to be a missing link. And this was the missing link for
Mm,
myself and for my husband, which made
it's
it very easy because I really liked meat. But much like you, doing keto or coming from every other way of eating except for pescatarian, because I'm allergic to fish, was really interesting because I was like, you mean I can eat only meat and like
yes.
potentially get my fertility back? I'm willing to try this. It was kind of the last ditch effort. And I mean, I'm nursing my child right now, and I'm so grateful and humbled that this worked so well for me. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to be when my cycle does return. How does it feel? Because that was one of the first things I noticed was that, oh, my cycle, I would normally be miserable leading up to my cycle, and my cycle improved. Like I didn't have the cramps, I didn't have the lethargy, I didn't have the pain. Like, yeah, you still have like that kind of mild PMS, if you will, but it wasn't anything like it was previously, which was
Okay.
really encouraging to me. So
Yes, yes.
I'm really curious, Melina. Can you tell me, you have two beautiful children and you have one foster child. Can you tell me, how do you talk to them about nutrition? Do you just lead by example? Do you have conversations about it? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think it's more difficult when you don't start from the beginning, because they used to sugar, they used to this kind of product, so it's more difficult to change it. With my foster kid, it's easier because he came in my house, he was 1.5. So, we could like, he loved meat as well. So it's easier with him because he get used to it. Now it's been 1 year, so he's 2.5 years, so it's easier. With my two other kids, it's more difficult. So of course they see me, and now they know when they see me. I don't know, when we go to a restaurant, they say, "Oh, mommy, you can't eat this because it's not carnivore." So they understood, they know, and they speak with
Oh,
people, with friends. My mother eat only meat, so that's so cute. And sometimes my daughters say, when I will be older, I will do like you.
oh,
I think they understand, they see that I'm good. And for me, it was very important that it's not like a diet. They understand that it's not because I just want to be slim, like the society, like fit. And it's not, I didn't want to give them eating disorder as well. So it was important that they see me eating a lot and why I do. So I explain it to them, but it's more difficult for them to do it. So now my older, so I have a son, he is 8, and my son now he starts to eat eggs at the breakfast, and that's new because before in Switzerland, like in France, we eat bread and marmalade. That's the typical breakfast, and it was really hard for him to give it away. And now I think it's 2 months that he asked me for eggs in the morning, and I'm really happy, because I can see the change. And my son is very active, not hyperactive, but like almost.
busy. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
busy.
So I think it's good for him to eat less sugar because it will help him.
Mhm.
And so for him, the breakfast is good. My daughter also, she loves eggs, so it was already good for her. She's 6, and
Mhm.
for her it was easier. And for the lunch is good, and for me, I think the more difficult is the snack, because at when they finish school at 4, it's like they used to eat sugar, like bread and chocolate and biscuits. So I think for me, how do we say, the more difficult to tell them that they could eat something else, because like you can eat an egg. They would be like, no. So for the moment I'm focused, on the main meal,
Mhm.
the meal. And for the snack, I try to sometimes cook something, because when I cook it, I try to put less sugar, or sometimes substitute, and or put almond flour, to try something else. And sometimes I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. If it's
Yeah.
one meal, it's okay. And
Yeah.
what's difficult also, it's because they eat once a week at the grandparents' house, and I have no control, uh,
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
I have a funny story, is that my mother loved to make orange juice. It's like, when I was a child, she was doing it all the time, and it's really not good, because it's a lot of sugar.
Yes.
And my son told me, I will not drink this because it's too much sugar.
Bless
So,
heart.
yeah, that was so cute, because I told him, you can eat an orange, it's good, but like not drink 4 or 5 orange. It's not like very good, even if it's homemade. So
Mhm.
he told her this, and she was like, you drink this or you will not have water.
Oh my goodness. And
He
that
was
is
like,
societal pressure.
he told me, Mommy, I'm sorry, I had to drink it because I was thirsty.
Oh.
So, because my mother know that I'm a carnivore, she doesn't like it so much. And I don't want to, like, when she cook for them, I'm like, okay, I will not fight, and I will let her do what she wants.
Mhm.
So yeah, sometimes it's difficult, because when I see that she give a dessert, or like things like transform like dessert and things, it's horrible. Like when I see the ingredient, I'm like, oh yeah, but it's okay. I mean,
Once a week.
yeah, once a week. I will not, like I say, fight with her for this. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not worth it. I think it comes down to choosing your battles.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's like we understand the benefits of carnivore. We've seen it in our own lives and we've seen how it can affect other people. So I
Yeah.
think prioritizing that for ourselves is wonderful. Your children obviously see you as a person of influence. They see how you eat. And so they're wanting to mimic that, which I think is very important.
It's so cute.
It leads me to my next question. How supportive is your family as a whole? You mentioned your mom, maybe not so much.
Yeah, so my husband is very supportive. From the beginning, he saw the benefits, and he's really happy. For the moment, he's not in carnivore, because for him it's so difficult. He eat at work, and if he eats only meat, he will just have like a little steak like this, and he will be hungry. So he tried to be like more keto, and but he's like more carnivore, like more meat. And that's good, to have your husband very supportive, because I know that I don't have to fight when we go to the restaurant. We find the restaurant that is good for me. So I'm very happy with this. And for my mother, she doesn't like it. She's very afraid. So it's nice, because when we go to eat at their house, she do something for me. So she doesn't force me to eat something else, but she's always telling me, I'm very worried about you. I'm like, but
Oh,
you see me. I'm good. I feel good. But I think it's, you know, my parents are very sportive, like very, and for them, we need to eat like vegetables and fruits. So I think it's in her mind, and she can't change it. It's for her, it's impossible to change it. So I know it's the best. Like she wants the best for me, but it's okay. She do the best when I go, and that's good for me, because I wouldn't I wouldn't be forced to eat something I don't want, just to please people. So I like the situation like this. My father is okay. He's like, okay, if you want to do it, do it. And my sister is almost carnivore, and I'm very happy, because she starts keto in last year, and now she's starting to be more and more carnivore because she see the benefit. She has headache as well, so I'm happy because slowly, very slowly, I can give them example, so,
Yeah, I think
and
that's wonderful.
yes, yes, I'm really happy actually. And for my husband family, they are very supportive. Like they understand. They don't. They ask me question before, now they understand. They don't want to try it, but every time when I'm invited at my parents-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, they cook something for me. So that's very nice. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I
very
love
like
that people are willing to be accommodating. What a blessing that is
yes,
to have that. And I think it's very interesting because uh my family was sort of receptive about it. I
really,
don't think they really understood why I wanted to go carnivore, even though I explained it. I don't think
yeah,
they understood why. I think they just thought, oh, psh, she's just on another one of those diets kind of thing, because
yes, yes,
I used to be an athlete, and so I would constantly be in prep and constantly eating a specific way, and it's just no different for me to be eating a specific way. There's just a different title to it. Instead of calorie restriction, it's now
yeah,
carnivore, and just optimizing my health and those things, which is amazing. I would say my dad is going in the opposite direction of
okay,
carnivore, which is very interesting to me because I never suspected that about him, but he's
okay.
it's just what he wants to do right now.
Yeah.
My sister is currently, I can't remember if she's still on it, but I think she was giving carnivore a try. She was going to try it for 30 days, which I was really excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Just like you and your sister, I was super
Yes.
excited. I was like, yes. And my brother, I don't think I mean, he primarily eats a lot of meat anyway, but I don't know if he would ever go carnivore. I think that would be something that maybe down the road he might consider something like that. And then my in-laws, they just know that it doesn't matter what they say. I'm going to eat what I want to eat, and that's just it. So they're wonderful, and they're very supportive and very accommodating.
And your mother, does she understand now or still?
My mom,
Yeah.
my mom actually passed away in 2015, so
I'm sorry.
she doesn't have an opinion, but she would tell you she was a meat and potatoes kind of gal. So she would understand the meat thing. She'd probably be like, oh, okay, I would still recommend you eat some vegetables, but my mom would have been relatively open to it as well, I think. Mhm. How have you broached the difficult conversations with people? You have a pretty flourishing Instagram, and I'm sure people love your satire. I know I do. But
Thank you.
those people who are negative about things and who just want to, push their opinions on you, how do you handle those things?
First, it was difficult because I'm very sensitive and I'm like very I don't like that people hate me, I think nobody
Yeah.
like it. But
Yeah.
it was difficult for me. I was like, no, people don't like me. What do I have to do? I was trying to be nice, And then with the time, it starts to be very easy now that I don't care because when people really want to know something, you can have conversation, and that's good. You can have arguments from both sides, but when you have somebody that's very aggressive, I'm like, it doesn't matter. You can't speak with them, and it will lead nowhere. So I'm blocking them. So now it's like I think I feel it funny actually because I'm like, okay, if it's disturb people, it's if it's disturb people, it's mean that I'm on the good way, and I think it's a good sign actually. So I have a lot of people who just comment, like think they don't like, and I just answer. And people who come in my DM and are very aggressive, I block them. And
Mhm.
people who just say, like, why do you eat so much meat? You will have cancer, things like this. I'm trying to speak. And sometimes I can have good conversations. So I'm always willing to speak with them if they are open.
Mhm.
And if they don't, I don't lose my time anymore.
I think that's really important to value your time for one. And
Yeah.
you can usually almost always tell who has an ear to hear. And I
Yes.
think there's in order to progress as people and as a society and as a culture, we need to be humble. We need to know that new information is coming out every single day, and we have to be able to sift through and discern that information, what actually applies to our lives and what doesn't. And I like that you're handling this with humility, you're handling this with grace. I get a lot of negative feedback too. And I don't post the satire that you do. I love your content. I think it's hilarious and amazing. The butter earrings were that was it. I was sold as soon as I saw the butter earrings. I was like, oh my gosh. And if you guys don't know this video, you need to watch it. It's so great.
I love it.
But it just encourages me to see other beautiful women like yourself out there talking about carnivore and also kind of making fun of it at the same time because life is so serious anyways.
Yes.
Why not have some joy and spread some joy with it and poke a little fun at the things that people want to mock us for? Because, well, whatever, if you can't laugh at yourself, then what kind of life are you living?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
And
That's wonderful.
I think the problem is that in USA, a lot of people are carnivore and it's more common. And in France and Switzerland and Belgium, like where we speak French, like almost nobody. I'm not the first one, but I think we are 10 people.
Oh, wow.
So we
Wow.
have a lot of work to do, and people are so suspicious. And so it's very hard because they are very closed about it.
Why do you think people are so closed off to it?
I think I think the difference is in USA you have like maybe worse food and you have more obesity, so
Mhm.
people are more open about changing it, and um, they see more transformation. I don't know, because you come from a American diet to a carnivore diet and you can see the change. And I think in France and Switzerland we have a good diet because we eat vegetables and we eat meat. So people think that we are good, and
Mhm. Mhm.
everything from the USA is not good. So they're like, oh, carnivore diet is from the USA. No.
Oh, no, and it's
I
not.
think, yeah, because there is prejudice. No, do we say prejudice?
Mhm.
We have got
Mhm.
it, and people are close already. It's like, oh no, it's a diet, it's not good. And because we don't have a doctor also, in USA you have some doctors, but in France you don't have doctors, or in Switzerland you have nobody speaking
Really?
about it. Yeah. So I think that's the problem. People want doctor, people want naturopath. I
Mhm.
don't. Yeah,
Mhm.
they want people with degrees, and I think if we have it and we find it, it could help people to believe it actually.
I agree. Okay, so Dr. Elizabeth Bright immediately comes to mind. She lives in Italy. She's a carnivore doctor, and she talks quite
Okay.
a bit about thyroid health, women's hormones, menopause, and like young girls. And I
Okay.
actually listened to one of her interviews just a few days ago that really blew my mind because she was talking about, now I don't know the history of this entirely that she's referring to, or the studies that she's referring to, but she said as women we used to get our cycles when we were 16, 17, or 18, and now girls that are 8 and 9 years old are getting their cycles. And
Crazy.
I mean, she thinks a lot of it has to do with the pollution, all of the micro and nanoplastics that are in everything now. Everything comes packaged in plastic. And she also thinks it has a lot to do with the fact that people have gone away from eating animal fats. Uh,
Okay.
to your point, in the US, it is one of the only countries left in the world that still allows high fructose corn syrup to be put as an ingredient into food. And
Okay.
it is a banned substance basically everywhere else.
Crazy.
I think that has a big a big
Yeah.
hindrance on people's ability to be healthy when they're consuming these highly inflammatory foods like that. And I guess I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on how things are going, like with hormones for children nowadays and young adults? Like, have you seen a trend like that, or do you find in Europe people are tend to, like you said, be a little on the healthier side because you don't have all these hyper palatable, high processed foods like we do in the U.S. Do you think that that's still a problem in Europe, or do you think it's just going to show up more slowly in Europe?
I think it's always like this. I was speaking, I don't remember with who, but I think things start in USA. I was speaking with a patient actually. I was treating him and we were speaking about it. And I think it started in the USA. And after it's come like 20 years later in France.
Oh,
After it's come in Switzerland, like we are slow. So for the moment, no, I didn't see this kind of things with the cycle and the young ladies. So maybe, yeah, it's because it will, I think it will come, of course, because we can see like for everything it's coming, but I think we are late.
okay. Okay. I was just curious because, obviously there's different demographics in every country, and it's just
Yes,
very curious to me. And I would say North America definitely has a huge issue with
yeah,
the enjoyment of convenience and highly processed foods, hyper palatable foods, chemicals, plastics and everything, like I was saying, harmful chemicals, like even our products that you would use, like shampoos, conditioners, body washes, lotions, everything, has these like xenoestrogens or the microplastics that act like xenoestrogens in the body, and that manipulates hormones. So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't surprise me that this is happening, but it does make me sad. It makes me
yeah,
really sad that this is happening. So I
yeah,
think about the next generation, I think about your children, I think about my children, and I want to give them the best possible start, the best possible chance to survive this crazy world that we live in.
yeah.
And so I'm curious, could you tell me, how are you arming your children to look at things and to be discerning? Is it just a matter of being an example for them, do you think? Or what is your perspective on that?
You mean about food or about everything?
Yeah, food and products, ingredients.
The example, of course, but I think it's not enough because I think it's good to explain to them. So, um, for example, when they go to a birthday party and they receive candy, I
Mm,
know that a lot of their friends can have the candy in their room and they can deal with it as they want. And
goodness.
for me, it's very important to have it in the kitchen. I don't want to not allow them to eat it because for me it's important to not make them angry about it and frustrated, because if they are frustrated now, when they will be a teenage, they will do like the opposite. So for me it's not what I want. So I think I let them to eat, but like from time to times, and it's a little bit, and I try to explain them. And one time my son ate a lot and he was like super active and I was like, you see, you eat too much sugar. And he was like, "Yeah, that's true." So he saw the difference. So I'm trying, yeah, to show them that you can have bad effects. I'm trying to restrict as well and not let them to eat it all the time, because of course a kid, if he has a bag of candy, he will eat it. Like, you can't tell him, do like me, I don't eat it. Of course he will eat. So I'm trying to explain it. And I'm trying also to do like the candy, we make an alternative without sugar and we do it like homemade.
Oh,
So I did it yesterday with my daughter because she wanted candy and I was like, no, we can do it and it's better, it's a better alternative. And she was like, yeah, it's so good, I think it's the best. So
oh,
I'm better than Haribo. So
oh
that's,
yeah, heck yeah. Oh, I hope you have a recipe posted.
yes, I have.
Yes, yes,
It's
I would
very
love to.
easy, it's with tea and just with gelatin, and yeah,
Oh,
it's
I love it.
So
Wonderful.
yeah, I think it's the best to show them that we can make something also good.
Hmm.
And
And at home.
yes, exactly.
I wanted to touch on this, as you mentioned earlier, about disordered eating, because that is something that I experienced when I was growing up. We didn't have a lot. And what we did have was primarily homemade, so I'm not complaining. It was, what
Yeah.
was available to us, which is great. But I noticed my sister and I, whenever we would get a few bucks, we would ride our bikes down to the corner store and we would spend all of that money on candy and Slurpees, just sugar, 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 because it
Yeah.
wasn't something that we were able to get at home. And I'm just curious, do you think that this will help prepare your children to have a healthy relationship with food instead of, sort of like leading them to maybe want to be binge eaters or volume eaters or have like the anorexic bulimic responses to food? Do you think this will help them have a more mature relationship with food?
I hope so. I had a problem with food as well, and I remember when I was a kid and as a teenager, I saw my mother skipping meal because she
Oh,
wanted to be fit. And I told you that she was like sportive, and for her it was, and it's still important to be very slim. And I remember I was like, oh, she's not eating. And after she was like, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. No, I don't have to eat because I want to. And I remember this. And for me, it was very important to never say this in front of my kid. Even if I feel fat, I will never say it in front of my daughter. And
uh-huh.
for me, it starts as an example as well, how I see me, and not to give her a sentence. I don't know how to, but because
Like a
my
body
mom,
image.
yes,
Yeah.
because when I was a teenager and put a little bit of on weight, I
Mhm.
remember my mother was like, "Oh, you need to be careful because you you're putting on weight." And for me, I told my husband it's very important that well, not never, but we don't talk about weight in front of her and about her weight when she will grow and about my weight. And then I want her to see me eating because I don't want her to see me skipping meat as well. So I was doing the intermittent fasting before carnivore, and I felt bad because I was like, oh, she is seeing me not eating, and that's not good. But she
Yeah.
was younger, so she doesn't remember. So now I prefer and now I'm in carnivore because she see that I eat at every meal, and she see that I feel good, and I don't, how do we say, I feel guilty. I don't feel guilty because I'm eating,
Mhm.
and for me it's important that she see me good and eating. So
Yeah.
I think it's important. And after, it's also important for me to let them eat sometimes pasta, sometimes pizza, to not be frustrated. And like you say, when they are teenager, they will just eat McDonald's every day. So
Yeah.
so I think we try to give them the best. We try to explain it to them, but it's important to give them from time to time other things. And we don't know actually when they will be teenager. It's difficult to know if they will be thankful or not, actually.
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, we can pray about it and hopefully, hopefully
Yes.
it'll work out this way. If you were to encourage someone to go carnivore, what would be your top tips?
I think if you want to try it, it's good to start for 1 month because you can see the benefits. And if you try less, you will not see it, and it will discourage you. So I think, like I did, you try 1 month and you say, okay, it's a challenge. If I don't like, I stop it, and if I like, I continue. For me, it was important to be very strict from the beginning. I know some people like to do it little by little, and they put away the carbs, and after they put away the vegetables. It depends on everybody, but for me it was from the beginning. I was very strict, and I stuck on the carnivore from the first day. Also, I think it's important to eat not transformed food, because when I started, I ate a lot of sausage and like cold cuts. And it's better to start with red meat to see the more benefits. Yeah, it's easier to eat sometimes chicken and from time to time fish, to change it. But I think your main
Primary meat source.
yes, exactly. Like I think it's better to have red meat.
Now, Mélina, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get a hold of you? And do you have any projects? How can we support you?
I have project, but it's in French. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm trying. The first project is to sell a beef tallow. Do we say beef tallow when it's from the cream? Like, I don't know if we say the same. Yeah. So yeah, because we don't have it in Switzerland, and there is just one brand in France. So I'm speaking with them, and we are trying to make a website for the Swiss people. So I will be like the distributor. I don't know how to say.
Cool.
So that's good because it's the first kind of project like this in Switzerland. So that's a good beginning. And
Yes.
I'm writing my ebook about carnivore because you don't have any books in French. So of course, people who speak English, it's good because they can read books in English, they can listen to podcasts in English or YouTube channel, but in French you don't have anything. So I'm writing the ebook in French. So
Love it.
finish yet.
Wonderful. And how can people connect with you on social media?
On Instagram, so it's Smelly Meats, but it's a age at the end because it's a mixed with my surname. That's why. It's not
Clever.
because I don't know how to write meat.
Yeah. It's
Just
not a
because I
language barrier. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you from my whole heart for coming on and having this interview with me and sharing your words of wisdom about, children and raising children carnivore and talking to them about this way of eating and how to handle family and social situations. I think you're absolutely amazing, and I just loved having you on here. So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
my
much.
guest.
It was really nice to have me, and I had so much fun.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will leave all of Mélina's contact information below where you guys can go and follow her on social media and check her projects out that she is doing. I'm really looking forward to continuing to get to know her and continuing to support her. So I hope that you would want to do the same. If you haven't done so already, feel free to hit the subscribe button and click the little bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. If you guys are looking for one-on-one support, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can drop me a DM on Instagram at Real Life Carnivore, or you can go to my website, reallifecarnivore.com. If you are looking for community, the one that I highly recommend is the Steak and Butter Gang. I will drop a link below as well. They have a free community that has over, I think, 13,000 members. And then there's a paid subscription community where you can receive one-on-one support with coaches like myself, with Raymond, Emily, and Amy. The community there is thriving, and there are so many nuggets of wisdom that you can learn there. There's recipes, there's progress pictures, it's just a beautiful community. And if you've been looking for a community, this might be the right fit for you. So I definitely encourage you to check that out as well. I'll drop the link below. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. This is Rochelle, the Real Life Carnivore, signing out. Bye for now.